Let's face it. Pretty soon, robots will take over the world, and humanity will become a distant memory. The good news is, by the time technology catches up to the Terminator, we will already be dead. Artificial intelligence is invading human territory to take our jobs away, but these robots are going to have a hard time getting everything right. Here are 10 jobs that AI can't take away from humans, at least, not yet. Before we begin, we publish new video every day, so be sure hit button subscribe for more great content. Authors. When you think about it, writing is just rearranging words that already exist. So, AI should be able to figure out patterns in language to make their own stories. One Game of Thrones fan and professional programmer named Zach Thout was sick and tired of waiting for George Martin to write his next book, The Winds of Winter. So he decided to create an artificial intelligence software to write it for him. Just to give you a taste of the results, here is a quote. "This dragon does not say we had 4 of a band, or no men or rats and 2 singers, the great pack of men and the winged trees." Maybe that story would make sense after a few glasses of wine, but it's not likely that a robot will publish a New York Times bestseller anytime soon. Fashion designers and tailors. Unless you're a fashion designer, most people in the Western world don't bother learning how to sew clothes anymore. The majority of the clothing in the world is made by people living in third world countries like Bangladesh, where their working conditions are appalling. However, these people need those jobs to survive. Without the clothing industry, there aren't enough jobs to replace them, so many of these people would starve to death. So, who would ever want to risk ruining the lives of millions? Well, there's Dov Charney. In case you weren't aware, he founded American Apparel. He was kicked out of his own company because multiple employees came forward with sexual harassment accusations. Charney denies this, but the mattress in his office says otherwise. He decided to start a new company called Los Angeles Apparel, where he is still employing American seamstresses and tailors. However, his loyalty to his employees seems rather shallow, because he would clearly rather be alone counting his money in a factory with a robot invented by Steve Dickerson called Software. This robot is learning how to sew clothes. The only snag is, robots don't have a human sense of touch. They are great at sewing straight lines, but they can't anticipate when fabric moves or wrinkles. For now, Charney's plot to ruin even more lives has been foiled. Psychologist. One thing that artificial intelligence is truly terrible at is showing empathy. Since it has never been a human, how can it understand our emotions? Chatbots can't pass the Turing test, which means they can't communicate on the same level of a human conversation. Alexa and Siri can't even understand our search requests half the time. Do we really want them to give us advice about our traumatic childhood memories from the 3rd grade? We certainly don't think so. Besides, therapists need to pay off their crippling student loan debt somehow, and not everyone can be a weirdly successful radiotherapist. Doctors. Artificial intelligence is beginning to break into the medical field. In the future, we'll be able to get a simple diagnosis by taking a photo on your smartphone. AI will run through a database of photographs and compare with yours to see if there's a match. There are already programs that exist that can check for skin cancer on that mole you've been meaning to get checked out, and another that will look for diabetic eye disease. Heart monitoring watches already have the ability to check for an irregular heartbeat, as well. As time goes on, more and more medical issues can be diagnosed at home. However, that doesn't mean AI will be taking the place of real doctors. With robots, there is no such thing as bedside manner. Can you really imagine a world where a soulless chunk of metal tells you that you're dying in 6 months, with absolutely no empathy? People will always need a human to communicate with about their body, and there needs to be a sense of accountability, in case something goes wrong. After all, if you're in surgery and things go awry, you need a surgeon who can improvise, not an oversized computer who lacks any semblance of adaptability. Musicians. Artificial intelligence has been able to create its own music, from Irish folk songs to marimba, and it's actually quite good. In Japan, a fictional video game android called Hatsune Miku is so popular that she already sells out her own concerts. But don't worry. There's no way AI can kill listomania, which is the phenomenon fans feel towards their favorite musicians. Robots will probably never replace dreamy photos tacked on bedroom walls of little girls everywhere, which means that pop stars are safe, at least for now.